Welcome to another episode of One Day Talks. My name is Marion Golda. It's another time we're here to talk about engineering, everything engineering, get to inform, mentor, and build engineers. And today I'm joined by three student engineers to talk about building legacies. So I think we all know that leadership forms like part of our lives, and also I think in our experience we have seen how in different organizations or communities or nations there is really good structures or even like leadership transitions. So today we want to get into talking about what some of the students at JKUAT Student Engineering Association have been able to discover and even implement when it comes to building legacies, when it comes to building structures, when it comes to building building to last. Like whatever you start, it can be institutionalized to be able to continue. So I want to welcome the three guests with me. The first one, Edwin Mwai, he was the previous SES president. Yeah, I think 2025, 2026, yeah? Yeah, and then we also have
Yes.
Maslina Njeri, who was the vice chairperson, and we have Basil Karanja, who was the secretary general. So I'm going to give them each a moment to introduce themselves. So you can tell us everything as much as you want to tell us about yourself. So we go in that order as well.
Okay. Thank you so much for this opportunity. My name is Edwin Mwai. I'm a fourth-year civil engineering student at the Jomo Kenyatta University of Agriculture and Technology. I served as the president for the Society of Engineering Students, JKUAT, and it was a fulfilling time that I shared with Basil and Marcelina. Yeah, about myself, uh, maybe when you get to see me, you find I'm a tall person. What else could I say? I'm left-handed. Yeah, those are fun facts about myself. Yeah.
Okay, lovely. Thank you, Adrian. Now we hear from Maslina.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Marcelina Njeri. I am a fourth-year civil engineering student at JKUATS. I am the Vice Chairperson Emeritus for the Society of Engineering Students, JKUAT. I am really thrilled to be here today. A fun fact about myself, I'd say probably I am an only child. Yeah, that's good.
Okay. Thank you, Maslina. Besu, your turn.
Yes. Good evening. Good morning, everyone. I'm Basil Karanja, Secretary General Emeritus at Society of Engineering Students, JKUAT. I'm a fourth-year electrical and electronics engineering student, and passionate about my field. And it was a great honor serving as the Secretary General Society of Engineering Students, and it is one of the highlights of my university experience, which I'll live to remember. One fun fact about me is I and my elder brother were born on the same day.
What? So you're a twin?
No, different years, but the same day.
Oh, different years, but the same day. Okay, fantastic. So I think Basil has given us a bit about his engineering course that he's in, and we also want to also know about that from each of you, and also kind of like our tradition here to Andresi Talks is to kind of give a background of how you came to choose engineering and what you love most about your discipline so far. Yeah, let's start with Eden.
Okay. So for me, I'd say I was well in high school. I wanted to do medicine, just like every I would say smart student. You'd like to do medicine, Then after my KCC results came, I had not performed fairly well in biology, so I had to switch. After medicine, my second choice was architecture, so I placed architecture first after the KUSIP's revisions. So yeah, I got admitted to architecture here in JKUAT. That was my first choice after revision, but I later ended up switching to civil engineering after 2 weeks in architecture. I realized uh, I wasn't really passionate about what is in architecture. I'm more interested. I'm an analytical person. I like using logic rather than uh, using, let's say, being an artistic person. So yeah, I ended up switching to civil engineering as it was in the same field, but now more analytical rather than using the artistic touch. Yeah.
Fantastic. That's actually fantastic. So you're actually closer to engineering. You kind of just jumped to the other side. Thank you for sharing that. Let's hear from Maslina how she got to do engineering, to choose engineering, I mean.
For me, with selected courses in high school, and since I joined high school, I knew I wanted to do engineering, but I was not sure which field I wanted to specialize in engineering. Then when we were in high school, I was really passionate about electrical engineering because I really liked everything to do with circuits and all that when I was in high school due to physics. I really loved physics. Then after high school, when we were doing the revisions, I happened to have an aunt who is pursuing engineering. So I went to her for consultation and for advice regarding the course I wanted to pursue. Then she is a civil engineer, so I'd say to some extent she influenced my decision, and that is how I ended up choosing civil engineering. But I always knew I wanted to do engineering in JKUATS. Yeah.
Okay, that was like the first time I'm hearing I always knew. Yeah, that was very certain. But thanks for sharing, Maslina. Now let's hear from Bessel.
Yes, I'll agree with Marcelina. I also wanted to do engineering from the beginning while in high school, but the problem came in to decide which field because I also loved physics and I knew I would do something related to physics and I also loved math. So I just knew I'll end up in engineering school, but which discipline, that was now the problem. That's where the problem came in. I didn't know which one to choose, but because after we chose also our courses while in high school, and I chose aeronautical engineering. So I never even revised it. So I did aeronautical engineering, and I was called to do aeronautical engineering at the Technical University of Kenya. And during our time, we have the admissions at Technical University of Kenya used to happen like on June. So on June of 2022, I was in Technical University of Kenya pursuing aeronautical engineering. But I went over to see, I consulted, networked with some engineers and wanted to know more about the aeronautical engineering field. So upon learning more about aeronautical engineering field, I saw that it can kind of be split into two. We can have the electrical engineering part of it, then we can have the mechanical engineering part of it, because an airplane is basically made up of the airframe, which is the body, and that's the mechanical part. Then we have avionics part, which is made up of electrical systems. So I saw I was more passionate about the electrical systems. So I switched to electrical and electronics engineering. So September of 2022, I was admitted at JKUAT to pursue electrical and electronics engineering, and I love it.
Okay, Basil, that's quite a story. And then you need to explain to me why my light is going off and down because you're electrical. because it rained yesterday and the light can't keep steady. So that's quite an interesting story, like making that shift. And also, do you find that in electrical you still find some aspects of aeronautical? Is there anything, or as an electrical, can you still work as an aeronautical later? Because you can, I see people switching fields, like people pivoting even later.
Yes, as an electrical engineering engineer, you can work in the avionics, you can work in the aviation sector. And just to share, in my second attachment, that was last year, I had an opportunity to work as an avionics engineer intern at Tropic Air, Kenya. And it's a private air charter company, and it's also aircraft maintenance organization. So we were dealing with autopilot systems. I did some installations of autopilot systems. I also did antennas. I learned about communication systems. That's antennas, because planes communicate um, with the control towers, and the communication systems are just basically electrical systems. So you can work in the aviation sector freely as an electrical engineer.
Mm, mm. Okay, thank you for sharing that. And I was asking because I think usually we do spotlight of different careers and the opportunities that are available to you. And I know most people, I don't know about you guys, when you went to do electrical, Edwin, civil, Marcelina, civil, if you knew what that career was even about. But most people actually, you come to realize they have no idea. So let's hear from you. Were you surprised once you started pursuing your course? But people made transitions. Yeah, Edwin made transition. Vessil also made transition. It's only Maslina who was sure. But you can still tell me, once you change to civil, is it what you thought? Did your mind open up once? Because now you have I don't know. I know Edwin is in fourth year. Basil and Marcelina, not very sure. But like, now that you've advanced in that course, do you feel it's what you expected? Do you feel there is more that you didn't know, or there's more that probably you still don't know?
Okay.
Edwin?
I would say for me, when I joined civil engineering in first year, I really hated it so much because I was wondering, why have I joined that course where I'm continuing basically doing what I did in high school. Yeah, doing chemistry, doing physics again. I really didn't enjoy it at all. I was never seeing any aspect of civil engineering in the coursework, because it was just doing a lot of math units, physics, and chemistry. And funny story. Okay, I've heard Marceline and Basil saying that they loved physics in high school. Personally, I hated physics. Even though I passed in physics, I didn't like it. That's why engineering was never in my in my view. I never envisioned myself doing engineering because I didn't like physics. But yeah, so that's why, like, at first I never even had engineering. Even after first revision and second, I didn't have any engineering view. But as I've progressed with my coursework, second year, you start doing like strength of materials. You start getting into the slowly into the career, and
Mm,
you start understanding now and getting to appreciate. Kindly for there, loving it. I'm now
mm,
understanding. I'm now seeing the new principles that I wanted to learn, not what, because when you're in first year, it's just like a continuation of high school. So you're wondering what's new. Is this really what you came for? Yeah.
yeah, Edwin, that's actually a good point, and I'll ask you another question before I go to Maslina. Do you feel that should be scrapped off, the science courses on first year, in your
Uh
opinion? No, you're not
yes.
speaking
Okay.
for.
Not entirely. We could have them
Mm,
condensed into only the needed parts, because there are some parts that I feel like we learned and we're not
mm,
even using them in, because we did like some electrical tests and physics
mm,
1 and 2. Maybe it would have been more relatable to Basil rather than me as a civil engineer, but it's still a
Mm.
prerequisite for us as civil engineers. Yes, so maybe
Okay.
we could have a revision of the coursework and have them consolidated to only the meaningful bits. Yes.
Okay. And now you feel you have a full view of what civil engineering is and what you can do with it once you graduate.
Uh, yes, but I feel like once you get the hands-on experience, then you'll come to finally appreciate it. Because for my attachment, I went to a roads organization, so my
Mm.
attachment was in roads. But I really don't have any much experience in the structural and water sector. So I feel like once maybe I have experience in that field, is when now I can finally make a decision on how much opportunities are there in the various fields. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Edwin. Maslina, what about you? Do you feel now you have a good understanding of what civil engineering is, and was it what you had expected? Since for you, you are very sure what you wanted to do.
Um, okay, as I didn't say it, I'm also a fourth year civil engineering student. We're in the same class. And in first year as well, I would say I was a bit confused because I was wondering which part of civil engineering are we really doing in first year. But after, as we progressed in second year, personally, I really loved that year because that is when I would say I got to understand what civil engineering was really about. One thing a unit I was really surprised we were doing is surveying because I didn't understand why we were doing it, and I really didn't enjoy the unit as much. But after going to site and going for attachment, I have come to appreciate it. But I would say I was not really shocked because I had an idea of what civil engineering was about, like the broad branches, transport, water. I didn't know about geotechnical, but and structural as well. I knew about structural, and I would say I had a rough idea. But coming to campus, I would say for the first few years, the idea I had was not really I didn't really come to experience what civil engineering was really about. But later, I can say I am enjoying it, and I can say I really love what I am doing right now.
Oh, Mercy. I just love like you how you made informed decisions. And one of the reasons why we're doing such talks is so that people can have information. So it's almost like you had all the details you needed to make the choice you need. So I don't know. I don't know what you did, but I'm gonna call you. I'm gonna talk to you so that I know what you did. So we can implement it now that you're talking about, if something works, we need to scale it so it works for everyone. Yeah. So we go to Basil. Basil will make a lot of transitions, but tell us now that you are in electrical, is it what you expected?
Yes, and okay, the transitions were a learning opportunity because I did the transition after engaging with the engineers in the field and visiting visiting the field and knowing what's happening. That was in
Yeah.
2022.
Mm.
But upon making the transition to electrical, I was making the
Yeah.
transition in the thought that maybe just ending up in the aviation sector and working with
Mm.
planes because that was my
Mm.
first uh,
Mm.
thought, and that was what I was really passionate about it. But
Mm.
upon pursuing electrical engineering, I've noticed it's so broad and it
Mm.
has lots and lots of opportunities.
Mm.
So I'll say I'm quite learning more and more about electrical engineering and
Mm.
exploring different sectors and knowing that there's more opportunities than I had just confined myself to. We have
Mm.
the telecommunication industry, we have automation, we have robotics, and I even
Mm.
had the opportunity to do a competition in robotics, and we were
Mm.
building an autonomous robot which had to do self navigation. It was to map out the area. Then, after mapping out the area, it was to move from one point to the other autonomously. And I'll say I'm a person who explores. So I'll
Yeah.
say when I see something is related to my course which I did not know, I usually just explore and see where it leads. So I did like first year and second year doing other units, even chemistry were doing other things. I just liked it because I did not know what it was meant for, but
Mm.
I just had a new perspective of what was being taught. Yeah, so I'll say I'm liking it and finding more and more opportunities and yeah, learning to explore them also.
Yeah, yeah. It's actually very good to explore. It's a good spirit, actually. So you nothing surprising so far. Everything just like you expected in electrical.
Um, okay, one surprising thing is I thought electrical is, as many people think, they usually just
Mm.
synonym to a steamer. It's yeah, it's the electrical person. You fix the bulb somewhere, you do the wiring somewhere, but it entails more. So we also have the software aspects in electrical engineering, and which some people even shift from electrical engineer, they call themselves software engineers. So that's the thing I found it shocking, that electrical is more than the hardware,
Mm,
it's more
mm,
than the power generation, it can go
mm,
beyond that into the
mm.
softwares. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Basil. Thank you. And I think now we have like a good background on your courses and understanding how you guys came to do that. And now what we came all of us here to talk about was leadership. And it's because all of you were in student organizations. So maybe we can now go again another round and just give us the experience of your leadership in students organizations, why you joined, how you joined, because many students don't join student organizations. I think guilty. I never joined when I was there, but I really do regret that part. So, what would you tell students? Would you encourage them to join student organizations, and why? Would you encourage them to join leadership, and why? And what has been your experience? Are there other positions you've served in? How did you get to join? What encouraged you? What are you looking for? What have you gotten serving in leadership or leadership in student organizations? Edwin?
Okay, for me, I'd say I joined SS leadership through Marcelina. We okay in second year. Joined Marcelina and a couple of our friends. They told me they had started going to a club called Society of Engineering Students. So I didn't really know. I was not part of the club. I never really used to engage with people because the first year I was so lost, as I had said. So I attended a couple of meetings, joined as a member, and then it was election time. I think I joined during around elections time. So there was none who was vying for the assistant secretary general position. So and it was only open to a first year or a second year. So the president at that time asked anyone in the audience who would like to serve as assistant secretary general. So I think Marcelia and my friends so pushed me to and I raised my hand. I would like to be the assistant secretary general. Yeah, and that's how it happened. So I went to the front. I was asked a couple of questions, and yeah, I was voted in as the assistant secretary general. Uh, Later, yeah, that is the November of 2023. After
Mm,
that, I served in the exco, started going for engineering events. I think as student leaders, we get invited to some of these forums, such as like the Association of Consulting Engineers Future Leaders. Whenever there's
mm,
an event, we get invited
mm,
to such forums. Because I remember for my first event, the first event we attended was a Karura hike by ASEC, and I met the likes of Engineer Robert, Engineer
mm,
Kibara, and at that moment
mm.
I started enjoying. I started to see like engaging with engineers. I started to want to be like them. I started wanting to engage with them, to love. And I started loving engineering in a way because once you start sitting with them, get to talk to them, up on the you start getting to know the bits about civil engineering. Yeah, after that, elections came again. Now, after serving as Assistant Secretary General, so the next position is it's the presidential position. It's not open to a fifth there. So if I didn't vie at that moment, I wouldn't get another chance to vie for president. So I said, let me shoot my shot. And yeah, I we had a very intense campaign because I was running against my friend. Uh, yeah, but once we got to the stage, we sent out a manifesto, and yeah, I won. And it was a really interesting term, serving with Basil and Marcelina, and I've enjoyed every single bit. There are moments where we maybe had some disagreements, but I think that is common, or it's bound to happen for people working together, and you learn from them and know where to change next time. Yes.
Thank you for sharing, Edwin. That's actually really interesting how you came to join. Um, so now we want to hear from Marcelina, the same story. How did you get to join student leadership? Now, Marcelina, your story is something else. You're the one who brought Edwin in. Okay. And your experience on leadership, if you've served in other positions, and like just encouraging other student engineers, students to join engineering associations, and why?
For me, I had a friend, and she knew about SES when she joined first year. I had not known about it. So when we went first year, she kept talking about it. She kept talking about it. So when we went for long holiday, I paid for the membership, and I was added to the group. So I'd say I officially joined SES in second year. So I started going for meetings, and for me, one thing that made me keep going back was the community that was there. I really appreciate the president at the time, Anset Mwandwa. He was such an engaging person. He would say hi to you wherever you are, if you ever met him. So for me, finding a community, and for me, getting into campus, I kind of went through culture shock or something, because I thought making friends would be easy. I thought people just hang out all the time. So when I joined SES, I kind of got a community where I could make friends and learn as well. So that is how I joined SES. And in second year, when Edwin joined, and I was not really, I kept saying I'm not really a person who's into leadership. So for me, I pushed him because I was not someone who really wanted to be in the spotlight in terms of leadership. Then when we were in third year and in second year, he kept talking about how the community is nice. So for me, I got to understand the nitty gritties of what serving in the community, the SES committee is about through him. So
Yeah.
when we got third year, I vied for the vice president position, and I was lucky. I did not have an opponent, so I ran unopposed. So that is how I got into the position. And for me, I would say it has been a really enlightening journey. I have learned things about myself. I have been able to get out of my comfort zone, because I was a very shy person before. But now I would say I have overcome stage fright. I am able to run events. I am able to coordinate and also work as a team, because that is one of the things that are part of leadership. And for those people who have not yet joined um, societies, especially those related to your courses, it is a really nice opportunity. You get to learn a lot. You get to learn from people from other disciplines, and you get to interact with people as well. That is where we've made friends. That is where we get to get opportunities through the people we interact with. So I would say it's a really, really nice opportunity. Yeah.
Thank you, Marcelina. Those are tangible skills. So sorry, my lights is out completely now. It's not flickering anymore. But we'll proceed. So we go to Bessel. Please tell us your experience, how you came to join student associations and leadership in student associations. How has it built you, and would you encourage other students to join?
Yes, thank you. I particularly did not also know about Society of Engineering Students. I came to know about it in second year, towards the end. And I had friends who were in the Society of Engineering Students. and their classmates, and they are telling me they have a training about microcontrollers, and that's Internet of Things. So I was curious who's teaching it and what's happening in that training. So I attended the meeting and found out that the meeting was being held by projects committee. It's under Society of Engineering Students, and they usually have a meeting every Thursday where someone who has a given skill shares to other students the skill. Then another person will with another given skills shares the skill to the friends. So when I went there, I found the previous projects chairperson, that was Steve. He was doing the training of microcontrollers, and we were creating a humidity and temperature sensor. We are integrating it with the microcontroller so that it displays the humidity and the temperature of the room. Then we can know if we turn on the fan or we turn off the fan. And it was an interesting experience. So from that point, I used to attend every projects committee meeting, and I not particularly attended the main meetings, which is usually on Tuesday. So that's I'll say I joined out of curiosity, and because the society is doing a lot in terms of just being the social aspect and also the growth aspect. So upon joining, third year came first, and there were elections. A fourth year came first, a third year came first, and there was election. So during the elections time, in the committees, what happens in the committees, we do nominative. Then the other roles are now elective. For the committees, nominative, it's based on people who, let's say, attend the most in the committees, and those who are doing great work in the committees. So I was just standing somewhere. Then the previous committee chairperson came in and was, Basil, you know what? After this meeting, I'd like to talk to you about the projects committee. I hope you be around. And Edwin was around there eavesdropping. So he said to Steve, no, please don't take Basil to be the project's chairperson. Let him even vie for secretary general position. So from that, I was like, okay, let me run for the secretary general position. And I ran for the secretary general position and got into leadership. I'd not served in any previous committee. I was just a member there. And upon joining, I learned a lot. I'll say I learned a lot, and I would like to encourage everyone that you learn on the job, because the previous Secretary General was a very charismatic person, and one of the roles of the Secretary General is chairing meetings. So, in the icebreaker sessions, he will have very nice icebreakers, and people will laugh. You could see the engagement. Now, I was coming in here, I did not know how to do icebreakers, and I was sharing jokes. People are looking at me. I'm sharing another joke. People are looking at me. So it was really a nice experience, because I came to learn how to moderate events and MC events, and you'll also learn a lot about yourself. You also learn that sometimes you create your own path, because I really thought I'll be the one. I'll continue with that making of jokes, and people are laughing and standing and they're just laughing. But I came to now I'm recognized as the person with the dry jokes. So at the end of it all, you learn about yourself and you know more about yourself also. And
Yeah.
there's a lot of leaderships that teaches you, because I came to learn about more about financing of events. That's something I couldn't have known without getting into leadership. So getting to it, you learn on the job.
Yeah, Basil, and I'll get to you later to talk about projects committee. I love what's happening there, and the icebreaker sessions, and also what you've said, that leadership kind of mirrors who you are, and indeed there are different kinds of leaders. And that means that there is also something unique that you also brought in your leadership. So those committees and what you're doing, I want you to talk more about it in a bit, and also if it's related to what you're talking about today, Project Legacy, which is what I want you guys to tell me about. How did that come about? Is it a committee? Is it how did it come to be?
Yes, thank you. So, okay, we do have the different projects committees. We do have different committees. We have the projects committee. That's technically skill sharing and learning from each other. And one of the things I've shared is we learn Internet of Things, microcontrollers. That's electrical engineering students. There was also another training which was done in partnership with the Roads Hub for Civil 3D. That's for civil engineering students. Yes, so technically that's the projects committee. Then we do have the corporates committee that deals with looking for partnerships and with companies so that they can come in and sponsor our events, because we have many events in CES. We have World Engineering Day. It was just yesterday, and you are part of it. Thank you for coming in. We also have Tech Week, which is a flagship event. We also have
That's a committee
editorial
as well.
corporates committee.
Tech Week is a committee.
Tech Week is an event.
Okay.
Yes. Then we also have the editorial committee, which writes. We have a CES magazine. We have weekly newsletters. So that's basically the editorial committee role. Then we do have the publicity committee, which deals with publicizing Society of Engineering students. So they manage our social media accounts. Then we also have Women in Engineering and Technology committee. And yes, and to highlight on what you've asked about, Project Legacy. So when getting into leadership, we used to get into the leadership, then you learn most of the things in the job. And there's transition, which is always happening. You know that after this, we have transition. And the previous committee always learns a lot during their tenure. They learned that if you do this, it works. If you do this, it doesn't work. So last year, it was around October. So I shared a thought with our president, Edwin and Marcelina, and let's form a training, and let's call it Project Legacy. And in the training, let us share what we learned in leadership during our time. Let us share the processes the processes which occur in running Society of Engineering students. Let us share how we go on to look for sponsorship for events. Let us share our experiences, and let us basically share also what's happening and what we think should continue. So that's when Project Legacy came in, and it was open to everyone in the Society of Engineering students. So they were just to fill it and join the group. So that's Project Legacy. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you for shedding a light on that. So Edwin, so for Project Legacy, once you guys thought about this idea, was it implemented? At what scale was it implemented? How did it come to be integrated into CES now?
So I can say we structured the meetings based on what we wanted to train. So there's one about we decided to have like 4 sessions. They were to be structured. They were to be online, and then we'll have one physical meeting to close the event. It's open to all CES members who are interested to join in leadership, because the elections had not happened at that moment. So there was a topic on corporate communications, how to do the letters, how to do the emails. There was a session on how to do sorry, the first session was about doing all about CES history, because you can't get into a leadership position when you don't know about what CES has
Mm.
done before. I can
So
say
Edwin,
something.
I just let me just cut you there because I love the point. And having
Yes,
worked in in organizations before, that is the part where people miss out on. Like
yeah,
you join leadership, you don't okay, you are a part of it as a member, but that doesn't mean you know what you probably joined it for like one thing that you liked, but it doesn't
yeah,
mean you actually know what the organization is about and what it does as a whole, because that is very important when you're a leader. So I really love that you guys are doing that as well. Thank you. You can proceed.
yes. So
Yeah.
we introduced them to our sales Google Drive. We have a
Mm,
Google Drive where we have all the documentation from past leadership, things like that.
mm,
So, because personally, as I got into presidency, I came to learn when I went through the drive. I learned that since sales started in 1994, but somewhere along the way there was some sales stopped being a club since there was bad leadership, and it was well documented and put on the CES drive. But that was something that happened in like 2012. So how I would have never known what failed during their time, or what caused CES to fail during that time if it wasn't documented. So going through and sharing with them a bit about the history, who's the patron, going through the constitution, the various positions, and how the different committees have been really helped in forming Project Legacy. So yeah, after doing all the history and going into the different committees, we then now went now into the letter writing, corporate communications, and then we went into writing the projects, and then we went on event organization, because I think that's what we mostly do assess, or everything that you do is basically an event,
mm,
because we have our Tuesday meetings, we have our Thursday meetings, we have to book a venue. So we categorize them into various committees. There was logistics committee, we have the publicity committee. This is now still under Project Legacy, where we under Project Legacy now we were teaching them how to run an event. So there was the finance committee who are and partnerships. There was, let me just check on my notes. Yeah, we
okay.
had the projects where in every competition or in every event we have the technical aspect. So if we are having a speaker, we'll now assign that to someone. So we went into the different roles of these committees, and then yeah, I think that basically summarized what we did the whole of Project Legacy. We used to have it,
Mm,
I think, for a week, every
mm,
evening at 8 p.m. And
mm,
we used to have great turnout. I believe over 25 students showed up for Project Legacy, and they used to all turn up for the Google Meet meetings. Yeah, it was a nice initiative that Basil came about with. Yes.
I agree. And so was this the first time you guys were giving this a shot?
Yes, because
Yeah,
personally,
okay.
as I don't think we have had such a training. Maybe
Mm,
what I can say is because I've now that was now my that was now that leadership I'm being part of. When I joined
yeah.
Assistant Secretary General, the former president, maybe we sat with him, just had a talk about how CES runs. He took us through the various offices in the school.
Yeah.
Uh, when I got into presidency, I think since I had served in the main council, it was everyone thought it was automatic. Now I know all the details. I just
Yeah.
have I will help
Mm,
now everyone. So we really never had that training. But now, for us, we decided to have a structured training. Yeah, and to show them where the different letters go around in the school. Because to have an event in a school, you have to write a gate pass. You have to book a venue. You have to.
mm,
There's so many details, and they all have to go through the various offices. There are various protocols. Because we write our letters through the principal of the College of Engineering, then they go to the Dean of
mm.
Students, the Deputy Vice Chancellor, things like that. So teaching them about protocol was also another thing. Yeah.
Just mind blown. I love it. Okay, let's hear from Maslina. Maslina, now you coming, did the Project Legacy happen once you're in leadership or before? And in your experience, have you been able to see like a shift now that this is happening? And what are some of the things people are saying about it, people who have been taken through the process? And also you can even give your contributions to Project Legacy as well.
So during the Project Legacy, usually we had the different structured sections. So the session that I was actively involved in was the physical meeting we had. So basically we gave, after the structured training that happened through the Google meetings, we had a physical meeting where we had all the members who had taken part in the training. They came together and we'd given them a task where they had to prepare for the World Engineering Day 2026 that just happened yesterday. So that was basically the project that we gave them, that we have trained you to do this. This is how we do things. So this is the big project that you now have to work on, and the fact that it is an event that you have to pull off. So they had to put their A game to organizing the event. So during the physical meeting, we gave them an idea of what the different committees, as Edwin has talked about, while organizing an event, what they entail, the logistics committee, what they do, the finance and all that. So all the people who are taking part in the Project Legacy, we grouped them into the different committees according to the strength and how they felt they were comfortable in. And we guided them through the process. So if they had an issue when they're organizing for WED, they would come to us, they would ask questions, and we would give them guidance. So I would say it has been a huge success, because Marion, you were in the WED, the
Yeah.
World Engineering celebrations yesterday, and I would say that has been one of the biggest events that CES has pulled, especially considering it is their first event as a new executive. So I would say it is a very big shift, because for us, when World Engineering Day was also our first event, but we didn't have a footing. We didn't understand how to go about things. So there was a bit of confusion, and I would say that our event was not as successful as we had it yesterday. So I would say Project Legacy has been a success because they didn't have to struggle as much. They got to understand what comes. So when they go through the stresses of what entails being in leadership, they didn't get shocked as much, because they got to understand what happens, and this is what happens. Yeah. So personally, during Tech Week, I was part of projects committee. So the projects committee chair who took up the position, I guided him through. He would ask me questions. I would tell him this is how we go about this and that. And yeah, I would say it was a great success. So I would say Project Legacy has done its job, and they also exceeded our expectations. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah, I do agree. And I wanted to ask you now, you talked about the training. So who does the training? Is it the current leadership? How do you call the president? Do you call it council, or how is it called at CES?
It's just called an executive. We have
the executive. Yeah. So does the executive do the trainings now, or who does the trainings to the people who are interested? And at what point are these trainings done? Is it done while the current leadership is still on? Is it a one-time thing? Is it a progressive thing? So I'll let Marcelina answer that before I go to Bessel, shoot a question to Bessel next. Yeah.
Okay, so since this was a very fresh idea, this is not something that has been done before. So for us, we had the main executive take part in the role, because we were the ones who are actively, as much as we had the other members of the executive help us out, we were the ones who are actively involved in the proposals, letter writing. So we were the ones who took them through the training, and I would say it has been a nice experience. So we took them through the trainings. The trainings were structured, and we were lucky to find time, because it was during the strike. People are not doing anything. So I would say the turn-up was also to some extent due to the strike that was going on. So I would say it was a very nice time, and it happened before the elections happened, because these are people who we asked, people who are interested in CES leadership, even before the elections took place, for them to understand what are you getting into. You're not just getting into a position you don't know, because people think that leadership is all flowers and roses, but it is not like that. So we had to make them understand there is stress. This is what happens. This is
Yeah.
how we go about things. There's stress that comes here. There's time. You have to allocate so much time. And yeah, I would say it was a nice experience taking them through before elections took place, because most people who took part in the Project Legacy are now in the executive, but some didn't manage to get into the executive. But yeah, I would say they had an idea of what leadership in sense really entails.
Thank you, Marcelina. So before we go to Bessel, I have to say this is the talk that I've had in the past 3 years with the most, engagement, like very exciting engagement. People are sending love emojis, celebration, fire. So I can tell people are loving this, because every time I host talks, people ask questions. I don't even see an emoji at the end. It's always serious questions. But I can tell people are actually enjoying what you guys are doing out there. So welcome everyone who is talking. Keep the questions coming up. Keep the engagement coming up. And I love that you're enjoying the show as well, because I am, and I'm learning a lot. So back to you, Bessel.
Yes.
First of all, congratulations. This is an amazing idea. So I want you to tell us where you got this idea from. Did you see it somewhere? Did you see it happen somewhere, or you picked it up from maybe something you saw lacking in the leadership that was there, or in the transitions that you had seen, and then maybe you came up with it as a solution to maybe try and solve some specific problem that you had noticed.
Thank you very much. So I'll say, okay, one thing which inspired me was
Sorry, we've lost you. We've lost you, Basil. We had lost you, so you can start again. Please
okay,
start.
thank you.
Start over,
Am I audible now?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll say it's out of the journey, because we had learned a lot as the executive, and learning all that, I felt the next team needs to know what we had learned, and to know it in a way beforehand. And because the previous team, and I like what our president did, Edwin had served in previous executives, and so he was the backbone of our leadership, because if we had anything, we didn't know much, so it'd be like, Edwin, if you have this problem, what were you guys doing? So that's I felt that we need to have a way also that we can pass it to everyone, because at some point we also want new leaders and everyone to be engaged and the society to be engaged at large. Yes.
Yeah, and what you spotted is actually it's a problem in not only SES but institutions, like as large, in leadership, even to national levels. Yeah, even to national levels. So I think transition is something very important. And Edwin, I liked when you say that some of the things that you noted, or that SES does, having this Google Drive where they document even bad governance and lessons that were learned. I think that's very important, because let's not just document the good thing, because it's also very important to learn from the bad side of history of our institutions. So, what did I want to ask Edwin? I wanted to ask about the project legacy now, on the committee level. Like, how does it? How do you feel like it has impacted now what the committees are doing? And did it result to now you expanding maybe the activities? Did you see an expansion of what your members could be able to do as a result of the trainings that you guys are doing? Did you see more expression of interest in leadership? And what other improvements did you see in SES leadership after you started the trainings and engaging people before they get into leadership?
Okay. I would say SES runs like a company where we have, as a president, I'm mandated to, I'm like as you are the visionary of the whole club. You have the whole idea about the club, but you're not able to handle everything. Currently, we just finished World Engineering Day. In a month, there is Women in Engineering and Technology, and there are various partnerships that the club would want to build. So the president is not really able to handle all that. So I can say through Project Legacy and decentralizing some of the work and delegating some of the work enables a lot of work to be done rather than having the main executive doing it. Uh, Once you decentralize some of the duties and the roles, everyone gets an opportunity to work in SES and they get a chance to polish their leadership skills. At the same time, SES gets to grow since there are a lot of people now working hands on the
Mm,
activity. Uh, yeah, I think that's how,
mm,
because
mm,
there are a lot of activities that happens in SES up on top of
mm,
just the normal Tuesday meetings. Every
mm,
Tuesday there
mm,
is there's a Tuesday meeting. You have to
mm,
there's a poster that has to be made.
mm,
There are multiple details that go to every uh the multiple details that have to go into
mm,
planning. So to
mm,
avoid burnout, it's always nice to decentralize a lot of the activities.
mm,
Yes,
mm,
but still having follow up. I think follow up is another. Yes, you've decentralized the committees, but
mm,
following up and having one central figure to kind of
mm,
now wrap it up, that's really nice because there also has to be seamless communication between the various committee. I think so. For Project Legacy, we had them elect their president, who they would like to have as their president, and that was Suma for the World Engineering Day. Because now Project Legacy was now the World Engineering Day organizing committee. Yes, so they're
Yeah,
having.
I noticed that, and I was wondering, I was wondering if you guys had like committees for every event, because I noticed something like World Engineering Day committee, and I was like wondering, okay, so do you set up committees for every event, or how does this work? And so that means also, and number two, the second part of that question, does it mean that now Project Legacy you formed it into a committee that now does these trainings regularly? So the two-part
Yes,
question.
after. So could you just repeat the question?
So the first question was, gosh, why is it skipping my mind? I noted I noted there was World Engineering Committee, and I was
Yes.
wondering, you have committees for every event, and then I was asking the second part of the question: did you make Project Legacy to be a committee? Like you have a committee called Project Legacy that does that ensures that there's proper leadership transitions and there's training of everyone interested in being a leader.
Yes. I can say the events are spaced out, but still, I think we came up with so that as a president, I couldn't handle everything all at once. So, for example, for Tech Week, we had an organizing committee. We have the different projects committee. We have Women in Engineering committee, but we needed a committee that's working directly on this event. So maybe you are the incest leadership. We have different course representatives. We have the civil representatives, marine, mechanical. So we also give the representatives a chance to work on events hands-on. So if it's instead of giving the corporate committee teacher all the work now to handle all events, so
Mm,
we have some of the course representatives and other assessing members who are interested to serve in the events committees. So Tech Week had a different organizing committee.
mm,
Basil handled was in charge of that. For example,
mm,
Cesbina Marcelina was
mm,
in charge of that because
mm,
if I decided now to head all committees, it would have been really
mm,
stressful for me as the president. So it is also nice to
mm.
give people a chance to lead and showcase their skills also. Yeah.
Yeah, and is there a specific committee called Project Legacy Committee?
Project Legacy is the whole idea about handing over and transition, teaching the
Mm,
new generation about leadership. So Project Legacy then became adapted into the World Engineering Day because now it was like their first task what have you learned? So to move them
like
out
a
from
pilot.
project legacy. Yes. So they had now to organize World Engineering Day.
Okay. Okay.
Maybe I
I
can
think
add on something.
yes, please. Yes.
Okay, Project Legacy, as shared, it was to involve everyone, regardless whether you're serving in the executive or you're not serving in the executive. It was more towards those who want to serve in the leadership and would like to know what happens in the leadership. So that's when we had the training before even elections. And after the training, we're like, there's no need just to have a training. Let's just have a task after that. So after the training, we now told them, um, let's form you guys, let's give you the task of arranging World Engineering Day. So they started planning for World Engineering Day, which was held yesterday. So when they sat down, we told them you can even elect your president in the committee so that you can
Okay.
so that you can
Okay.
organize.
I think I get it now, Bessel. It is a short-time committee. Can we call it that? It is kind of like a task force. It's like we're bringing you guys together to organize this specific activity. Then after that, it's dismantled. Is that what happens?
Yes, it was the first one to train those who like to go into leadership, and we hope it will be progressive. The part of having World Engineering Day, it was just a task which came up, and we're like, we have learned something, so let's
Okay.
organize World Engineering Day. So World Engineering Day was just, I'll say, a homework, and they
Yeah.
did the expression very well.
They did
Yes.
it well. And it means they had good trainers. So basically, before you go, you have a question here. From Faith Higo, wonderful conversations. Thank you, Faith. Basil, how did you convince the EXCO to buy the idea and give their time towards this, especially since CES is a volunteer organization, and this means volunteering more of yourself? I think, did this mean volunteering more of yourself through the project?
Thank you, Faith Igo, for the question. So I'll say one thing which I came to learn is leadership is service. And one thing I learned was if you have a team also, once you have a good idea, the team usually becomes so receptive to the information. And when you share it broadly and you also highlight the benefits which are going to happen, and you highlight it clearly, and you also encourage them, and people will most likely receive your information. And I'd like to say that, yes, CES is a volunteer position, and so everyone who comes into the committee come with also the mind they are volunteering their time to service and to better the society. So it was easy convincing members to board on the idea. Yes.
Okay. Fantastic. Thank you. So to Maslina. So Maslina, I think it would be great if you painted for us the picture of the CES organization at this point. So I think it will help us to appreciate Project Legacy as a whole. So maybe the main leadership, and then the committees, and then if you have like two small task force, even if it's like the recent World Engineering Day committee, just paint a picture for us so that we can be able to see, because we want people watching this to be able to apply it in the organizations, in the associations, and all that. So once we see that structure, we can be able to see now, I think, a full picture of how now the pilot task World Engineering Day came to be successful.
Okay, thank you for that question. For the CES executive, we have the main executive, which consists of 5 members. The president, who was Edwin, myself, the vice president, who was me, the secretary general, who was Basil, we have the treasurer, and we have the assistant secretary general. These are the people who are are basically like the main unit or the main task force of the society. Then we have a couple of committees. We have the projects committee, we have the editorial committee, we have the mentorship committee, we have corporate committee, we have the women in engineering and technology committee. We also have the editorial committee. Now, these are the various committees, and the publicity committee as well. Sorry, these are the various committees that help run SES on a daily basis. The projects committee, who are involved in the technical aspect, having engineering students learn about the technical things, what is expected, the softwares that we are supposed to know. We have the mentorship, which involves us mentoring the kids, because during Tech Week we have high schoolers coming to our school during the Tech Week for mentorship, where we give them the idea of what engineering is all about. We also have mentorship from people in the industry. Yeah, so we also have now editorial, which basically involves designing the SES magazine. We also have the publicity, which is basically the team that runs our social media platforms, the women in engineering and technology that basically deals with empowering women, and yeah, and corporates, which basically deals with sponsorships. Then we have the various, because SES involves it encompasses every engineering student. So we have a representative from every engineering course. At the moment, we have about eight eight representatives for the various courses: civil, electrical, mechanical, mechatronics, and recently we've been able to onboard aerospace engineering, which is a course that has been recently introduced in JKUAT. We have agricultural engineering students representative, yeah, and the various courses. So basically, during I'd say SES has probably like four main events. We have the first one when you get into office is World Engineering Day. Then we have the Women in Engineering Summit, we have the Tech Week, and we also have the SES Dinner. So for our community, which is a really nice thing that I would say Edwin took up, we had a committee for every single event that we were organizing to avoid burnout in having like the same people organizing the same event. So we have, for the World Engineering Day, we form a committee which has its chairperson and the various subcommittees, which I'd mentioned, our logistics committee, which basically deal with running, catering, tents, volunteers. We also have the finance committee, which basically deal with sending proposals and getting funds from the various partners that we get. We have the guests committee that deal with getting guests, the speakers that we have during the day, the judges. We also have now the projects committee, because for every event, at least the two main events that we have, which is World Engineering Day and Tech Week, we always have a competition to engage the students, for them to come together to learn from each other. So we also have now the projects committee, which deals with that. So every time we have an event, we have we have a chairperson for every event, which has the various now committees, and every committee has its lead. So we have different people. You find that this time you're in the logistics committee, the next time you're in the finance committee, the next time you're in the projects committee. So you get to learn what each subcommittee entails, and this helps in delegation of roles, so there's no burnout in the side of the main executive. So I would say it's a really nice opportunity, and every time the event is over, the committee is disbanded, and when the next event comes up, we form a new committee. Yeah, but usually before we used to have people from the executive, the SES executive taking up, but Project Legacy we've tried to demystify that idea, to try have even people from the SES members who are not part of the leadership to come and understand what it takes, and also take part in event organizing.
I love that, Marcelina. I love the fact that people who are not in leadership have an opportunity to lead. Like, I love the idea that, okay, any SES member, you can be able to come in and, something that I have experienced, also being in leadership in associations, is it's very difficult to find people who are committed throughout their tenure, because especially in committees, mostly for the executive, the council, probably you find somebody, sometimes you'll find maybe it's not possible, but it's hard to find someone who is committed throughout the period. So having the committees for like a specific task and then dismantling it afterwards, I think it does encourage more people to get into leadership, because if you're having like tight schedules, or you're having this project that is so tasking, then you can be able to say, okay, I am just going to commit a week or a month to this, and then it's done. So they still learn about how to run the association, they still learn how to run the institution, they still learn how things are done, but they are able to commit to it short term. That is noted in my mind. I love it. I love it so much. And I wanted to ask, I think you've clarified this on events, that for every event you have different setups in the chairperson and everything that is dismantled afterward. So the next question that I want to ask is for all of you, and we'll start with Edwin. What are the lessons that you've learned? Because every time you do like a pilot on an idea, there are the lessons that you learned. This is the idea that we came up with and we wanted to see this happening. What are some of the lessons that you've learned? What are some of the ways that you've seen it? Maybe something that you didn't expect, something that happened much better than you expected, and while implementing Project Legacy, like since the inception of the idea, and trying to do a pilot to see how this can improve process. So we'll start with Edna.
Okay, something that I can say we've learned is for every pilot idea, there has to be follow-up. You may start and implement an idea, but without proper follow-up, the idea might just stay with you as the leadership. So follow-up is really needed, and also documentation is another part of it, because once you have documented this idea and these are the results of the idea, and then so people can come later and see, and also continue just inspiring the next team on how, and just showing them that this program really worked and they should continue falling in love. I think for me that was one key lesson. Something to note from what Marcelina said is that for the various events committees, one could work on the logistics committee, finance, and publicity. After every event, it's disbanded. So next time you might find yourself in publicity, and again you might find that after another event you might find yourself in the projects committee. So for the events, you find yourself, you get to learn different skills, because this constant switch up after every event. You get to learn new skills. You're not only like in logistics throughout your whole time. You get to learn different skills as you continue to progress. And I would say motivating them and telling the team they did a nice work is really something that you really need to motivate the team. So if it's through organizing one social event where people can just sit down, laugh and talk, and game nights, just something to motivate them and show them that it doesn't always have to be serious. There's times that when we get to engage the students, and just at the end of the day, you are a student, you are 21 years old, you would want also just to form friends. It's always nice to have that one small social event where people can engage.
So before you go to Maslina, so now that the event committee, for every event you have these setups for the short term setups, how now which the remaining committees that Maslina listed for us, are those like, do those stand throughout the what's the term at CES? Is it 1 year?
Yes, it's 1 year.
So do the other committees that Maslina listed, do they stand through the year apart from events? That's where you do the short-term projects, like for specific events, then it's dismantled, or these other committees are also kind of like a project on a project basis.
They run out. I think they run out throughout the whole term of the 1 year. But for example, our outreach committee, they organize an event. Maybe today we're going to our children's home to give back to the community. During my time, we went to an elderly home. So that would say it's project based, but now that will be entirely run by the outreach committee. Not necessarily, it's not an event on its own, but we try to have like continuous work for the various committee leads. For
Mm,
example, corporate committee, they'll constantly be at work because we are trying to also form long-term partnerships with the various organizations. So today they'll write a proposal. Again, there's no time there when you can say you have enough partnerships. So they are
mm,
constantly at work. The same
mm,
with the editorial committee, even though the magazine it's only one magazine per year, they have to
mm,
write various newsletters. Uh, yeah, newsletters after every 1 month, bi-weekly or monthly, something like that. So the newsletters, so that's constant work for them throughout the year.
mm, mm,
We have okay, publicity. We have publicity again. They are at work constantly throughout the year since they have to market the Tuesday meetings, the Thursday meetings, the now major events. Again, they are also tasked with marketing again. Even though there is the publicity committee of the
mm,
main event, they
mm,
are also work hand in hand with the
mm,
main publicity committee
mm,
of
mm.
success. Yes.
So that means the way it works is, in case we are setting up a committee for a specific task, how does that work? Does this committee work under maybe like a standing events committee, or now the executive and the committees come together and now form this, and who do they report to? Who is responsible for this committee that we formed for a short term?
Okay. I'll say for example, Take Week, I delegated the task to Basil, and then we had a call for different members in the exco because now the cost representatives and anyone else in the sales community who would like to join the group. So we form a WhatsApp group. Then we first have the first meeting where we outline the various tasks that are need to be done. So we now have people themselves willingly they volunteer themselves. So they choose which committee they would like to participate, and then we encourage them
Mm,
also if they like to switch to a different
mm,
committee, though in a
mm,
different one, they can
mm,
switch.
mm,
So
mm,
I can say for the standalone events, the president is in a way mandated to now select a
mm,
leader. But for the
mm,
project legacy, we did something different. We had everyone trained, and they nominated their leader.
mm. And
Yes.
who does the leader? Because the reason why I'm asking this question is because I'm thinking now at our associations level, IK, ASEC, and there's so much that's happening there. Uh, because already you have the council, because we call it council, and the committees that now works under the council. So already even at committee level you have so much going on. So I'm trying to think, even as we talk about this, how we can be able to implement it in our engineering associations, because usually for them they have like an events committee, and I'm thinking, would then the events committee be in charge of the smaller task force, or maybe each committee can choose to run expression of interest for every task force. But now I think that's up to me to brainstorm, and I will come back to you guys if I have any questions. To Maslina, I wanted to ask. No. Next question first. We are still going through the lessons that you've learned when Project Legacy was implemented.
Okay, thank you. I would say for the lessons that I've learned through Project Legacy is once you carry out transition, the next executive or the next people that are coming after you, they will not have a hard time. Because when you exit the stage, if you're, for instance, in leadership and you exit, you want to see the people that are coming behind you, they're doing a better job than you did. So when you see
Mm,
that the event that was organized by the Project Legacy was a success, for us it is a success on our end, because that is the aim that we had. That is what we had expected. So the whole idea of it is to ensure that the people who come after you, they do a better job. And for us, it's for the progression of the society. If, for instance, we have a good turnout, we hold events that have good turnout, then the next committee that comes in, they do not have the same. So what will you have to show when after you exit? What will you say you left after you exited CES, because your legacy is not just when you're in power. Your legacy is even when you exit. So that was the whole idea behind Project Legacy, and for me, I would say it is a massive success.
Okay, so before you go, please answer that question. How do you form a subcommittee for a project? Do you call for volunteers or nominate?
Okay, SAS is, as we mentioned, it is a volunteer. SAS leadership is a volunteer position, so we usually call for volunteers, because these are people. Since it is a volunteer role, we do not have people who are being paid or anything like that. So we have people who come out and volunteer themselves out of their own goodwill. Because if you nominate, you might nominate someone who is not really interested in the running the event or something like that. So if they volunteer themselves, it's like they've said that I am ready for this task. I am ready to put in my time and my effort towards this. So I feel it is better if they volunteer. That is what we usually do.
Okay, thank you, Marcelina. Bessel, on to you now.
Yes.
What are some of the lessons that you learned with the Project Legacy? Once now you saw the idea being implemented, yes.
Yes, there's a lot I learned, and I can just say that one of the things I particularly came to appreciate is start. It's just a matter of starting, because before the idea, we were like, how will we run it? What are we going to do? But when we started, things gained momentum. So I
Yeah.
think that's the best thing I learned is just to start doing it, and things gain momentum as it goes. Then inclusiveness, having because previously we had not involved even those who are not within the executive. It was more majorly taking roles, doing events. It was majorly meant for those who are in the leadership positions. But in the project legacy, you said, let's call out every member, SES member, come in. And when they came in, you see a lot of them were so enthusiastic in serving. And from the project legacy, after we did there was an election. Members who are in the project legacy, we had our president, we had our vice president, we had our secretary general, we had our assistant secretary general. Almost all members in the project's legacy wanted to run for the positions, and they took the positions. And you will always be shocked if you include everyone of how successful things will end up being. Yes.
I love it, Bessel, because one of the things that I've always thought about is how to, because there's only so many positions that you have in leadership. And so having these small task forces, like it helps everyone to come in and serve as a collective. And also when you serve, you appreciate the association institutions much better, and you complain less. I
True,
noticed you
true.
also complain less when you serve, but when you're served, you kind of complain. Well, I don't know why it happens like that, but you complain less once you have a contribution to something. So I really love the small task forces that ensures that you involve everyone. And now these new leaders that are coming in, they're actually coming in knowing what's in it for them in leadership. They're not coming in maybe just because maybe it looks, akina Edwin wanaonekana tu uko mbele, they're very famous. Maybe let me try this because of that. Like they literally have the understanding of what's going on. So we have one question from Kevin. Great legacies are not left to chance. They are designed through vision, discipline, and purpose. And I agree. So we'll do the last round before I ask you some. I think our time is actually out. But let's do another round of now. What do you see like a way forward for project legacy, what would you like to see? Maybe if you, now that you've seen it run with the lessons learned, do you want to scale it? Do you want to add something to it? Do you want to do something different with it to make it much better? Edwin?
Project legacy. I would say I would let the experiences of the new council also, they would add on to it and let it be run. I think every time during the before the elections or after elections, because I would say there's a point. You asked me a question about the different events. Who are they answerable
Mm,
to? They are answerable to the main council, the main executive now,
mm,
the main.
mm, mm,
So you might find we formed Project Legacy before the elections, but now you've been elected as a president, but maybe you might not really align with maybe who is now in charge, who has been nominated to be the president during that time. So
yeah.
maybe something that could change is maybe have the Project Legacy after, maybe immediately after elections, we can have like the Project Legacy, so that the current leaders, their vision is not also distorted by maybe who's running the Project Legacy, who's in charge of Project Legacy. But generally, just follow up. I think it's something that will continue running, and we've had
Mm,
good feedback. Yeah, and
mm.
I hope for the best.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Maslina?
I would say I would encourage the next committee, like during the next elections, I would encourage them to also hold a similar forum and a similar training to ensure that
Mm,
the people who come after them as well, they have a footing, because personally we gave them the footing. So they would extend the hand and give the same effort to the people who are coming after them. Something I would say I would want to improve, I would want to see Project Legacy improve. It's
mm,
probably we can try have the trainings not just when the new executive is coming in. We can have them
mm,
during major events to ensure even the people who did not take part in the first one, because probably they were scared or something like that, they can
mm,
have
mm,
an opportunity to understand what leadership is and also take
mm,
part in the organizing of the various events, the main events that we usually host. So that is something
mm.
I would want to see an improvement on. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing. Vessel,
Yes,
what
thank
would you
you.
like? Yeah. Mm,
Our Project Legacy, I wish it continues way,
yeah.
way after us.
Mm,
CES was founded in 1994. So I
mm,
hope in 2050 we'll be having Project Legacy. And I'm also sure, I'm certain that it will continue adding up, because what we learned, the next executive, they'll have things which they will have learned. So I hope it continues being progressive, and they continue sharing what they have learned. And also to concur with Marcelina, I wish it to be more often than just it happening just once before the elections. And yes, I hope, in short, I hope they take it up and they continue
mm,
with Project
mm,
Legacy.
mm, mm. Okay, fantastic. You guys, I've had a great time. Literally, like I've learned so much. Since I heard about this, I knew it was a fantastic idea. And do not shy off from teaching this even to corporate. It's a great idea. You can teach it to corporate, even an engineering organization. You can come up as students, come up with something, come up with like a training, come up with this is what we started, these are the lessons we learned, and you can actually teach it at a fee. after after now it grows and you've learned lessons, even now actually you can start sharing slowly, but as you guys learn more it can be something that you guys can actually own and teach throughout Kenya and the world, because I think it's a really really great idea. Yeah, so for the next 2 minutes we're going to have like some fun. I'm going to ask one question to all of you. You have to answer it in 30 seconds. The first question that comes to mind, there's no skipping. Edwin, the song that you never skip.
Okay, a song that I never skip. Wow. Yeah, I would say at the wow.
Your
I,
best
I
song.
wanna be yours. I wanna be yours by Arctic Monkeys.
Awesome, thanks.
Yes.
Maslina, city life or quiet life?
Pardon?
City life or quiet life?
Quiet life.
Okay. Basil, are you ready?
Ready?
One habit you're building or breaking?
Reading.
Reading. You're building reading.
Yes, reading.
Awesome. Okay, you're picking up reading. Thank you so much, guys. One more, I don't know, cheer celebration. Let me tell you, I told you guys this is the talk that I've gotten this kind of engagement from. Usually I'm used to like serious questions, like, gosh, I even get bored. But today I have had like the most engaging talk. And I know this one has touched a nerve. So you guys pick it up, make it bigger, and just I think it's something that could be changing, like could be like life changing for our institutions and even for our nation. So congratulations to all of you. Congratulations to Bessel for the idea, and also for bringing up with the leadership. And it also shows that you have good leadership who are receptive to new ideas. So that's a good trait on you. Edwin, and also Maslina. Gosh, I couldn't believe you're the one who brought the president in. That means so I really love the vibe you guys have. I really have the actually experience. Um, I think if we could be more open to learning from everyone, you see that people who usually feel you can only learn from those above you. If you're all more open to learning from everyone, just picking ideas, no matter who is presenting, as long as it's a good idea, I think would be so far. So I want to thank all of you for taking the time to come and speak at Wandisi Talks. I want to thank all of you for being great leaders and for the service that you've given to the engineering community. It will surely be rewarded. Thank you so much for taking the time. Have a great weekend and have a great week ahead. And for our viewers, I want to thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for the questions. Thank you for the engagement. You've made this session one of the best that I've had, that I have ever hosted. So until next time, this was Wandisi Talks, and I was your host, Marion Golda. Till next time, bye.